Gurmagh, and Minister, thank you for coming into the Senate today to discuss local government. And I don't know who actually requested this debate, but I always welcome the opportunity to talk about local government. It's right here in my heart. I was first elected in 2004 to the country's largest local authority on Dublin City Council, and I don't think there can be any greater honour than to be elected to represent your local community. Today's debate, as I understand it, was triggered by a prime-time programme, and I suppose that we're talking about local government, we're talking about governance, and we're talking about media coverage of those matters. And our role as legislators, I guess, also would come into the discussion. And I think when we're talking about local government, it is really important that we first and foremost recognise it as a cornerstone of our democracy. We need to recognise and acknowledge that local government is made up of 31 local authorities, more than 949 elected representatives from their local communities. There are 30,000 employees in our local authorities around the country, and they have responsibility for championing local communities, championing local democracy, and for defending local democracy. They do that through delivering services everything from the most utilitarian of sewerage and waste management and housing and planning and traffic, but also culture. You know, our parks, our libraries, our local community festivals this weekend in my own constituency, in Phibsborough, FizFest, supported by Dublin City Council in the North Inner City. You have the Five Lamps Festival. All around the country, in the 31 local authorities support local communities to deliver and to sustain each other, and actually to ensure, to a large extent, community cohesion, you know, and healthy and vibrant communities that can be found in all of our local authorities. They're funded to the tune of €5 billion a year. That's a very significant amount of funding, and I think it is appropriate that our local authorities should be funded to that level. In fact, I'd probably argue for some more funding and some more autonomy for our local authorities. But they are an independent corporate. They are independent corporate entities. They are established under the Constitution. You can't get greater authority in our state than to be established under Bunreacht na hÉireann, which they are. And it is from that authority, I suppose, that they conduct and carry out their responsibilities. And one of their key responsibilities, and the elected representatives work with the executives to this, is to ensure that there is good governance. And I believe that all councillors and all executive functions, or the vast majority of them at least, allowing for the human failings, but the vast majority of them take their governance responsibilities extremely seriously, extremely diligently. And I believe that actually not only do they take them seriously, they actually, I think, go beyond, from my experience, what is required under legislation. So we come to the Prime Times programme, and, you know, it was billed as, or titled, you know, the Council Chamber's Secrets. These weren't secrets. These were publicly documented failings. They were documented by the Local Government Audit Services. And that's right. That actually proves to us and to the public that the Local Government Audit Service is actually doing its job. Each local authority has an audit committee. The executives and the councillors work together to ensure that the highest of standards are achieved, and that's as it should be. And the Local Government Audit Service, and NOAC, as you mentioned, they work to support the local authorities to catch where standards fall below what they should be, to identify those failings, and to trigger corrective actions. So what the Primetime Investigate story did was not actually reveal any secrets of the Chamber. They amplified what was already public knowledge, what was already publicly documented, and rightly so. Now, I say all of that not to in any way belittle the issues, because anybody who saw the programme would be upset. I know, certainly talking to the Fianna Fáil councillors around the country from the local authorities, they were really upset by it. They're really upset because they're people who give of their time to go out to get elected to represent their local communities, to do the best for their local communities, to ensure that the local authority delivers for their local communities. And this made it puts a tarnish on everything the local authority does. Anytime there is a failing in an organisation, where there's a failure to achieve the highest of standards, where standards fall below that which should be expected and should be delivered, that reflects badly. And I know certainly from speaking to the Fianna Fáil councillors in Waterford and Clare and Mayo and Cork and the other local authorities mentioned, it upset them. It really, really upset them. And so it's really important that they have the support of your office, that they have the support of the department, the support of the local government audit services. And that when these issues are identified, that there is follow through. And absolutely, I accept, and most reasonable people accept, that where an issue has been referred to the Gardaí and where it's before the courts, that process has to follow due process, and everybody is entitled to be treated, fairly under the law. But it is really important that the transparency, that the accountability, and that the highest of standards are championed and are delivered. Because it's not just the financial cost, Minister. There is actually the cost as well of reputation and the damage that does to the local authority. But there's also the cost and the damage of loss of opportunity for those local communities, for those local authorities, when projects that are funded and should be delivered are not delivered. So, Minister, I see I've run out of time. I want to thank you for giving of your time today and your interest in this issue and your support for local government and the local authorities around the country. Gora Maga.